fantastic stuff. But
as I sitting here, kind of wants to affect the lane, but it's really difficult.
That ward was immediately pinged out. They know it's there. Unless they'll just ping Zai, but I believe they saw him actually plant it. The Radiant ward had vision down the entire little
He's already got the
alley.
sentry too.
Yep.
Yeah, he's going to realize now it's going to be a bad time in a second here.
Tim's even buying them for him, so happy times.
Yep, and there comes the D ward. Fresh one, instantly killed. I mean, either way, it still does buy CC a couple last hits, so couldn't help a little bit. And here comes the bounty runes, getting back to the bot lane a little bit late.
Got to try deny as many of those from Alchemist as possible, and it looks like he's going to get 0 of them.
Yeah.
One still remains unpicked up, but that's on the TNC side of the river, so nicely done by TNC to secure those.
So that's definitely a great principle of your lane is not going very well somewhere else, and it forces somebody to rotate, and then that means your lane doesn't go as well. Because if Zai doesn't go all the way to mid lane there, he probably sets up for the bounty runes, and then maybe CC gets more
mid lane.
in the end.
Rotation coming in from Tim's. Amel's hit level 6, but there's instantly a rotation from Zai himself, and Amel needs to be careful. He's actually got the Thirst giving vision, and Amel will scurry away from the Winter Wyvern, unable to kill CCNC.
That was kind of helpful for Quinn there that the
Top lane, meanwhile,
creeps blocked it.
with the Thirst stacks coming out because of how low Storm got, MyCat suddenly able to go a little bit more aggressive, getting around plus 30-ish damage. A decent bit of movement speed, but just level 2 Thirst.
Radiant's middle tower.
So Zai level 3 kind of performing some roaming stuff, and this is one of the things you can really do if you do have an Ursa that has a lane that goes this well. So I guess that's one of the benefits of what's going on with him. Kind of really trying to hurt him into the silence AoE here, but as soon as the creep wave comes, he'll have a Splinter Blast, so...
Back at bottom, Ursa was having a good time, but now he's going to find a big rotation coming his way. Again, the Bramble Mace is completely missing. Doesn't catch him at all, despite the initial stun setup, but they should still get the kill. Yep, Raven's got a second stun to make sure they get it. Picks up his treads, some of the skeletons and everything.
Well, on the bright side, they did burn some leap charges. It's not all bad for them, but Cuckoo super rapid around here trying to get CC.
Yeah, it doesn't have ultimate. He used it previously. Amel thought about bowling in, but once the TP was spotted, he decided better of it. If he gets frostbitten under a tower or something there, it could have gone very poorly for him.
Yeah, that one was a little hard. His mana wasn't that high. CC still had a stick as well, so I'm not sure he would have gotten picked off there. But he's doing a good job, at least. Every single time the creep wave comes forward, he drops the acid spray, kills the enemy creeps as fast as possible. That's going to make it so it's harder to go for those dives.
Back at bottom, there was a Shadow Realm TP out from Ursa.
Okay.
One thing Optic particularly have done well is deny these runes from Storm. Storm went for a bottle, and the last 2 runes have not been picked up by him. Like I'm going to die up top, but the 6 and 4 minute rune were both picked up by other heroes. One by TNC, but it's because Optic's pressuring these 2 minute runes that Storm has been unable to get these high impact plays going here in the early game.
Yeah, that's true. If you compare Sumail's Storm, for example, he got some really impactful runes. Maybe some luck there, but also that he lane controlled enough to grab the runes and then made good plays with them. So, absolutely helps. I'm sure they wish they had bounties though.
That's true.
Propel them a little bit faster. And if we look at net worth, he's still pretty separated, actually. He's got a good net worth lead on the Storm here. So I don't think he's too upset with how things are going.
Oh, yeah. Oh, top net worth chart where you like to be. He's able to fall back to the jungle, treads, Aquila. That's kind of all you need. He gets the double stack going now as well. Very good, consistent farm coming out his way. He is farming underneath the ward, which is where he will perhaps have to be careful later on once TNC get a bit more aggressive rotating around the map.
Oh, this is a good one. He got Elf Wolves and he got a Mud Golem stack. So that was a lot of gold
value
falling into his lap. And either way, I feel like Quinn's got to feel at home when he plays Alchemist, because it's kind of similar to a hero like TA that he usually plays a lot. It's like go into the jungle and be efficient there. And if he's used to doing that, it might be easier to hit in these patterns and just pick up items really quick.
Now smoking up, looking to rotate in on him. This is 2 supports, both level 4 though. CCNC's got 900 health. I don't know if they got the damage to kill him. Maybe with the Storm Thrower, he bowls in from afar. The root stops him getting from the shrine to the shrine as well. And that may tip off the fact there's a ward somewhere in the neighborhood, but not necessarily.
They also placed in sentries to block camps, which is a really good
call.
move to do. They did that in the other
bottom.
clone.
Popsy and Rage so he doesn't get stunned by the Cursed Crown, but there's a secondary stun from Cuckoo to follow it up. Raven's also got another Wraith Fire Blast as well. They bring down Ursa, so 33 after his strong start. His first blood has died a couple times now in the last few minutes.
Oh, gets the root off though, unfortunately. That means Rupture's going to be late. This is going to be a lot harder to snag as a kill.
Sam H will take the Thirst. He's still scouted out here, and the Splinter Blast's going to land, but doesn't look like it's going to kill him immediately. Sam H Starstorming and knows he's kind of dead here. Tried to leap forward, but Didn't really get away from the Bloodseeker in time.
That was actually pretty cool. Zai's Arctic burn damage pulled the creep to the right, otherwise they wouldn't even gotten that second Splinter Blast off. I don't know if he did that one on purpose, but just a feature of the damage over time aggroing the creep, so that's pretty cool. Alk's still in the jungle though, pretty standard for him. And at least his team is keeping the enemies busy. That and his tier 1 tower that no longer is alive.
Yep.
But ultimately he's on a safe part of the map, it'll be alright. Here's Storm though, not looking great for Zai. PPD also a little out of position perhaps, but they're fighting for bounty runes and they do get a silence on Storm. They'll grab the other one across the river and is that going to be it? Just a single bounty? And a Crystal Maiden. Okay. Still really good move
CM kill
from TNC though. Yeah,
once it seems, you know, they're really keeping tabs of these bounty runes with the Alchemist in the playing field. Problem is, you know, they're grouping up, they're contesting these bounty runes, but they're also not going and contesting the Alchemist farm. They did gank him once, but it's like, oh, we gank him once, and then the second he respawns, he's back to farming. They're not controlling the map. Against Alk, I always feel like a 1 or 2 ganks doesn't stop a hero from farming. It's the constant pressure and like aggressive vision that's going to do a whole lot more.
I was sure Kuku was going to TP there. He's going to 100% die.
Yeah.
Bit of a mistake.
Blocks another camp with a sentry, but that's going to get dewarded.
Okay, so it was only a sentry that went down at least.
So this is the game plan. Block his jungle. They've blocked camps on the right side, camps back over near the shrine on the north side.
The hard part though is like, yes, pulling like a large camp into a medium camp is great and all, but it feels like the medium camps are a bit better. I guess outside of like Troll Warlords, because the medium camps you get so many little small dudes to kill.
Yep.
Maybe I'm overselling this a little bit, but it's not like he kills stuff that fast. He's gonna spend more time walking, I guess. It's definitely a benefit. But I just feel like it maybe is better to kill him, but that's maybe not possible.
Top tower is under
Yep,
attack.
another D-ward coming.
Oh, PPD, that's an observer as well, so golden experience for him. And immediately sentry. Kuku's just like, whatever, don't care. We're dealing with that. We're taking this Alchemist problem, tackling it head on.
They're rotating some heroes. Oops, I'm zoomed out. My bad, guys. Sometimes it just happens. Old habits. Oh, the root from the neutral. This could be his death. He's being attacked, but he doesn't take damage from the neutrals. They are on a different team, and he's going to get out. That was pretty sick, though.
What team's that?
The neutral team.
Well, there's Radiant, there's Dire. Do the neutrals not get their own team name?
They are a third team. Team I hate everybody or something. Except for each other.
You know, that's bias against neutrals. We need equality here in Dota.
That's true. And now with that tier 1 tower top, it seems like TNC just has massive control of the map. And if anything, I look at the OG wards and I'd say they're maybe a bit misplaced. They're all very aggressive. It just makes me think back to the EG game and how much they defensively warded to get control of their map. And they're defensively de-warding, but it feels like you maybe need both. Yeah,
they are still looking pretty good in terms of the Alchemist farm, so it's going to come down to what can TNC do now, because this is kind of go time for them in a lot of ways. Armel's got his Kaya. He's also got a regen rune, so he's going to be hunting for kills. Finds PPD, but CCNC is right next to him, so it doesn't look like he wants to go fully commit in that middle lane. Meanwhile, the rest of TNC with Storm showing mid, they're actually up top, so seeing what they can find.
3-3 trying to push out the bot lane, but it kind of feels like to me that Alchemist would rather be down there. Whole enemy jungle to farm. They've got observer wards in position as well, so at least they can feel able to grab creeps there. But Sam H is going to stop the split push and still sitting around CC's about 800 away.
TNC are going to farm this Ancient stack. Interesting way to use a regen rune just to constantly heal yourself up. He's tanked like, you know, 2,000-ish damage here from this Ancient camp, but because of the regen rune, he's maintained his full health.
Even still, it's not like Alk is going to be able to kill that anytime soon.
That's very true. Oh, Winter's Curse into a Blood Right. This is one way to control a Storm, and it's going to get the silence off, and they're going to bring him down. The Terrorize comes a little bit too late. Bramble off the Terrorize. That catches 3 of them, but not going to see a follow-up there. Nice little bit of play, recognizing that Storm was completely alone and out of position if they could get that Blood Right off.
Another great D-ward here for Peter, and there's lots of sentries still in the jungle, and some of them are blocking camps, but not nearly as much ward vision as they had before. And this means that it's going to be very, very short until the Alk Radiance comes up. A minute till next bounties. Maybe they can succeed at getting more than one this time.
We're looking elsewhere. Raven going for a fast Blink Dagger on Wraith King. Has a Blade Mail queued up next.
Yeah, he's quite farmed. And Storm as well, actually.
Yeah, Storm's in a fine place. Even Moran is out farming the other 2 cores, the Bloodseeker, the Ursa of Optic Gaming.
Did they see this? I don't think they did.
There's
they knew there was a sentry, was why. That's why they're pinging. They're scanning, they spot CC, so...
Yeah, Will they actually get him here? They're invis up with a Moonlight Shadow. Raven already kills PPD on the Crystal Maiden, and CCNC gets bursted down, taken out by a Raven crit. Very nicely played.
That was a huge death. Kind of interesting that they're spread out enough to initiate on the 2 heroes at the same time. I thought it was just going to be PPD on this Crystal Maiden going down there, but the fact that they caught both heroes was absolutely worth it for them.
Yep.
And a rare moment where Optic felt like they had a little bit of map control, but again, it kind of plunged into another death for Alchemist.
It was a pretty heads-up play from Cuckoo, because he's the one that just ran past and kind of ignored the fact there was a Crystal Maiden and found the Alchemist. And it's like, hey, guys, forget the Crystal Maiden. Let's do this. Bounty runes are going to go 3-1 split again, it looks like.
Yeah.
See, getting majority of them. Tim's is going to run to some heroes. Winter's Curse and the Blood right at top bounty rune once again. Stopping him using Shadow Realm. He may still get it off when this Blood Right wears off, but no TP. So, will be his death. Eventually, I feel.
Yeah.
Unless they want to let him live, because they are afraid.
They can't do anything.
They could have killed him, but...
no, they were actually feared, though.
I mean, after the fear.
Oh, okay. I mean,
they don't know what we know, which is that Tim's was actually completely alone.
Yeah,
so
he was very separated at that point, too. They would have had to run like a Blink Dagger's distance to initiate.
Yeah. The rest of the TNC team was on the bottom side of the map, which we know, but Optic Gaming themselves didn't entirely have full info on.
And I'm sure there's been a couple games where they're like, oh yeah, I can absolutely get this kill, and then they end up feeding because they stayed just a little too long.
It's a level 7 Dark Willow. It's not going to net you that much gold or even create that much space for you at that point. Storm, oh, he knows they're in these trees. Pycat in a lot of trouble here. Has 1900 gold. We'll see if he wants to spend any before he dies. Looks like he will. Yeah, buys a couple pieces, and Zai himself will just TP on back home. TNC starting to string together quite a few kills here, and significant damage to the Alchemist's economy with his deaths, as well as all of the sentries and invasion in general of Optic's jungle. It's kind of limited CCNC just to farming these 3 camps over by the Dire Triangle.
And even those have been blocked a lot of the time.
Yeah. So. And just Ancients themselves are just not really value farm for an Alchemist. You're always hoping to farm the smaller, medium camps. Even a large camp, things that are just a lot easier and more efficient to kill.
So as we saw in the last little Storm Dive, that Bloodseeker can't really do that much to protect himself, and if Winter Wyvern is also on cooldown, that's also difficult to snag. The Observer did spot them going for a smoke here, so we'll see if Tim's tries to interrupt it or somebody else on TNC maybe. He's got Terrorize again, so if things get messy, he's got a way out. But they also have an Observer Ward, and they see him moving back and forth. So they're trying to find a way to get high ground here and initiate on him, but not get caught. Yeah,
it's like if Ursa blinks in, he can just insta Shadow Realm react. The lack of stun and initiation on Optic's side makes it very hard for them to make some space for CCNC now. He has finished his Radiance kind of on the bottom side of the map.
Raven blinking forward, really bad for him, actually.
Oh, he does have the Blade Mail, so he returns some damage. Is going to reincarnate, but he may just die a second time here. He's right by the tower. He's gone on by the unstable concoction of the Alchemist, and well played by Optic to punish his over-aggression.
And if anything, it was just a misread on where they were on the map. I mean, they knew there was a smoke, but Raven blinked forward to hit creeps, probably expecting a smoke somewhere else. And as soon as you see an aggressive blink like that, it's just straightforward. You know that if you kill him right away, he's not going to have a blink afterwards. And they throw everything on him under the tower. They've got detection, they've got everything they need. So that was a great pickup. They do still have to worry about Storm, but on the bright side for them, Armel is rushing a Bloodstone this game, which... Do you think this is the right choice? Because I kind of feel like if he has Orchid, he's just going to start solo killing any hero he wants. But now because he's going Bloodstone, I guess he's got mana, but he can't easily defend himself from getting stunned.
I think against, I guess what, Bloodseeker is Blade Mail, so he's not like the easiest of kills, and Alchemist is going to have Manta Style by the time you finish Orchid, so...
I'm not... I mean, yes.
Or roughly around a similar time. Maybe he's just thinking there's not easy kills for him.
Just like he would have Orchid right now. Because Perseverance is like, what, 1600, and then there's another 2.5. So he's very close. I feel like he could have it like right now, and Alchemist participating in that kill maybe, and therefore is now finally very close to Manta. I feel like he could have exploited a little timing maybe, but perhaps you're right. Maybe it would only been like a 4-minute window or something. And
I think a big part of the reasoning is they are looking at this game like, okay, Alchemist, you know, we've shut him down pretty well, but he's still also quite farmed. This is kind of going for that late game direction, and the Bloodstone is more the farming late game build compared to the Orchid, which is the let's fight and dominate now.
Absolutely.
So gearing up a bit more for the late game, particularly when you've got a Wraith King. Raven is just not going to scale that well on this hero compared to the majority of the carries he plays.
Man, Optics has very, very little vision here. They have no idea about Roche being taken.
They could contest this with Reincarnation down, I feel, if they knew about it. But they're just going to be here a little bit too late. They're gathering up for perhaps a smoke, but this is going to be too little too late.
It will definitely be an Aegis on Storm Spirit, which is a little scary, and especially because their ways to kill Storm are a bit limited. If they have to burn a Winter's Curse and do a Silence just to get a kill on that guy, then it'll be even harder to kill him the second time. But Manta's up on Alchemist, at least he's queuing up a Blink Dagger now, so they will have many stuns to follow.
Yep. Nice little pickup for him. As we'll see Storm's Bloodstone also completed, so the Aegis, he can really just go... Without the Orchid, it makes these kills harder to get, but if he finds like a CM or Wyvern type hero, he probably feels pretty confident he can kill them.
This is a double bounty rune for Optic Gaming.
Right.
Incredible.
It's game-changing.
He's getting 280 per bounty there, so... 600 gold swing there for him, and now the game's pretty even gold overall, but it's very heavily on the Alchemist here, net worth-wise. I mean, it's like what?
Yeah,
it's like a third of their team's gold. That's actually half. He has half of their team's gold right now. That doesn't really feel good until he has like an Octarine to me. Like a Manta Radiance just feels so vulnerable if they catch you at the right time with your ulti down, for example. But as long as he doesn't get caught out of position, keeps farming up, finishes his Octarine, he's definitely going to farm fast and push lanes and team fight.
TNC have actually smoked up from top and seem to be moving once again. You know, this bottom side of the map where Radiant often, you know, take over that top part, so this could catch some of these heroes by surprise, particularly CCNC.
Yeah.
Is he gonna TP out? He's turned his Radiance off, not to maybe give away his position. Turns it back on though, so maybe he's not quite sure what's going on. And the second Storm shows bottom, he's TPing out.
Yeah, this both teams kind of play. There's basically two places that their opponents could go. They're either going to dive the tier 2 top or look for Elk. So Elk read that correctly and ended up avoiding the problem. He actually doesn't use his Manta here, but maybe okay because this whole team is in the area.
He's not afraid in any way. You see CCNC is going to take the Observer Ward, gets bonus. 28 gold for the Observer Ward even.
Watch out. I think at this point, Optic's got to feel good, right? They've got the lanes decently pushed out. They still have all their tier 2 towers. They've got really good ward control in the areas between their towers, which means that it's going to be harder for their opponents to find their guys solo, at least.
I think they feel good, but like they can't play too aggressively because of the fact that Ursa and Bloodseeker are both having a rough game. I'm sure Pycat and 33 are like, yeah, I'm kind of underfarmed, guys. Do I need to go farm, or like, what's the plan? Like,
yeah, I suppose
this is the Alchemist effect, kind of. Cuckoo at mid, gone on and rooted up, will be brought down. Just a quick bench pick. Alk will end up stunning himself.
And basically, they just can't take this fight because they're all spread out. Armel is going to cut the creep wave mid, which is actually a great move here. Can't stop backdoor protection or create backdoor protection on a tier 1, but
they're coming to defend. Raven CP's in with the stun to start things off. One CCNC. He's got the Chemical Rage up still. The Terrorize falls up, catches out Ursa. The Wraith King Reincarnation is going to slow him all down. Ball in from Storm, catches the Wyvern. No curse immediately, at least. Armel, he gets cursed up finally. That could save Zai's life. He looks for the TP out. Ursa CM already dead. And the fight not over as the Bloodseeker does help finish off Cuckoo, but he now needs to find a way out of this one. Storm gets stunned up trying to pursue Pycat, who gets stunned by the Cursed Crown. That's a third casualty on the Optic side, who have only managed to kill the Venge.
Twice.
That's true. That's twice.
Super bad fight for them. Well, not super bad. Bad fight for them,
it's
but
pretty bad.
Two massive Venge kills.
Yep. And they lost the tier 2 bottom. Wraith King summoned Skeletons bottom to push and take the tower, and then TP'd mid to defend.
I mean, the start of the fight was pretty good with the Venge kill, but then it followed up with... it's like they went on the Wraith King, they killed him pretty fast, his ulti goes off, and then it's just Storm can kind of do whatever he wants.
That's like the way... That's how a Wraith King fight wants to go. The team with Wraith King is hoping that he initiates in with a Blink Stun and dies right away. That's actually kind of a best case scenario, assuming you're still in good fighting shape and just aren't going to lose the fight right away.
Either way, not losing Alchemist was decent. It's a gold loss, but that's a guy that's going to pump a lot of gold towards the enemy team if he goes down. And
to me, it's still this big question mark. You know, again, Ursa, Bloodseeker, still underfarmed, and they both died that fight. They didn't really get... They got one kill on Bloodseeker, I guess, but...
Yeah.
These heroes continue to suffer. Alchemist, I don't think he can outcarry 3 heroes by himself. He's going to need some help at some point in this game.
Especially against this many stuns. If you ever get caught, it's going to be chain stun. Very likely that you don't survive through that. So Skeletons, again, doing their jobs.
Taking another tower. That's one of these out towers being removed. CCNC has channeled up a stun down bottom. Wants Cuckoo, but doesn't look like he's going to be able to get him with the Bramble being deployed.
It's the one guy they know they can kill. That's why he's going hard for that one. Must be hard actually playing with an Elk like this because you know that he needs to get farms so that he can get his items. But in the same vein, then it's going to create lack of farm for you as well as a hero. So, but in the same vein, Pycat needs to have BKB so that he doesn't have to deal with all these stuns that are being thrown at him. Doesn't have to worry about arrows. Can actually run in and just worry about right-clicking as much as possible. But most of the farm has to go to the Elk. And now that they've stabilized a lot, I mean, they're still even on gold more or less. But it definitely feels like a much better position for TNC.
I agree. When it's this Alk versus the world, it doesn't feel great when like second, third, fourth are all on TNC side and not just like slightly ahead. They're well ahead of Ursa Bloodseeker. It can be redistributed with the Ags pulling later, but yeah, Optic were coming down there, and if they'd actually just stayed invis and left the bounty rune there, they may have actually baited at least one hero in, maybe multiple, but they weren't really to know that Optic were as close as they were. But yeah, we'll see if those Ag Scepters start getting pulled. I think Ursa's is a particularly strong one. If he gets Blink stunned, he can just enrage immediately. Doesn't matter. Make sure he gets his BKB up. Bloodseekers is pretty good as well.
Yeah, I would say Bloodseekers is quite good. Drop one on the Mirana, maybe put another one on, I don't know, a support or something. You don't really want to do it on Wraith King unless you kill Wraith King once, then put a second time. But even Wraith King's got a pumping out an armor or Radiance, sorry. Yep. Lots of damage being dealt from him. So
there's that's the great thing about Wraith King and Storm this game is that they're actually heroes that just don't care about the Rupture that much. So it does make life a little bit difficult as far as finding targets other than Mirana.
What if you just get the CM Mags? That way you can actually disable a Storm Sphere in an appropriate amount. It's not worth it, but
it's not worth it. But it is an option for an extra disable. It would require Storm to be standing still in freezing field, which I think he's got this spell that allows him to move out of the freezing field. Correct?
But it's a big AOE. Yeah. Like you're gonna spend some time there. It's probably like Medusa ulti, where like when it procs, you're like, really? I didn't actually think that I was looking at her. Thought it was the corner of my eye thing, but no, really. Then you just get turned into stone and the fight goes bad, kind of a thing.
It's pretty cool axe. I definitely like it, and don't think it's like bad by any means.
But we're not going to be there for a long time, because by the time Alk starts pooling these Ags, he's going to have a full 6 slot almost for sure, because none of those Ags are particularly incredible. And TNC's going to try to push this advantage with a fight. CC blinks forward, actually. He's got ulti at least, but walks right into a lot of heroes.
First stun comes out, the Wraith King falls up with the Blade Mail. The Ursa trying to save the day here, but that's not going to be too much as the backlines also get jumps. The Storm ignoring the Alchemist, going for the supports, takes out Zai first. PPD, you are next, my friend. That's 3 dead currently. It's now 4 with a full team wipe as Wyvern even bought back for that fight. Didn't have a TP. They're going to give CC&C a tip just to rub it in.
Yeah,
what a good fight.
Worst case scenario for Optic Gaming there, in that they didn't anticipate the enemies being there. He blinked aggressively in the first place. He must have had his camera looking somewhere else too, because he did have vision on them close by. Didn't put get his Manta off necessarily. Didn't get his ulti off right away, I don't think. Worst case fight for him, and great initiation for TNC.
Yep. That was Armo getting Bloodstone charges as well. He's up to 22. Definitely a good way to make sure Storm keeps up and scales even better than he normally would with just items, is getting these Bloodstone charges.
Prepping for Maelstrom on Wraith King, actually.
Okay.
I'm guessing to be one of those like solutions against Cold Embrace, I suppose. That he just wants a little bit of magic damage away.
Such a small amount. I don't know about the. It's okay, I guess.
Okay.
I don't think you're getting it just for Cold Embrace.
Yeah, because he's already got Radiance. It's not like he needs wave push in any kind. So
yeah, you have enough lane push with Radiance and Skeletons. You don't really need it. There's no illusion heroes on the enemy team. Particularly Manta style doesn't really count.
Yeah, he's more than fine with what he's got. He's better off buying tankiness or actually damage.
I like the AC pickup a lot better. We'll see if he gets it. I think other items like Halberd aren't bad. The disarm can be very effective on Wraith King.
That's true, especially against Ursa.
Yep, against Ursa, you're not required to be the main damage dealer necessarily when you've got Storm and Mirana, who are both pretty well farmed.
They are really close to Radiance on Bloodseeker, though, and obviously that last fight went bad for Optic.
You mean Radiance? He's going BKB.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Keep saying it wrong.
Oh, okay. Yes.
So even though that fight went really bad, at least if they can initiate, things could certainly turn around in their favor. So just need to outmaneuver their opponents.
It's crazy because, it feels like in some ways Ursa and Bloodseeker have not had an item since their first item they got at 15 minutes. But finally these BKBs are coming out. 29 minutes. You would have hoped to have seen these a good 5-6 minutes ago, but such is the nature of these greedy Alk drafts sometimes.
Yep. But once Alk finishes his Ags, then things are certainly going to be solid, I think, for Optic Gaming here. he does still have to worry a little bit about being chain stunned, I guess. And there is also things like Wave of Terror, decent right-click damage, but it's a lot of magic, things like Radiance. So I think he should be survivable enough when he pops BKB that they can actually take a really good fight, especially if he initiates too.
Looks like TNC are just thinking about next Roshan, and they know they're in much better fighting shape and can just kind of keep playing around this pit. They've got pretty good vision right now. Definitely strong map control with both top and mid always pushed out to the tier 3s. It feels like they do have some slight bottom lane issues that sometimes have to be addressed, but all in all, mid and top lane are the important lanes because they're the ones that play around Roche.
I mean, it's definitely one of those nice things to have, is just knowing that all your cores are just overwhelmingly strong, so you can just feel more comfortable even if your vision isn't the best. Optic getting their first double bounty in quite a while, so getting some gold advantage there, but now they're at a deficit of 5,000.
Yep. Dire Scan did clip a hero at Roshan. We'll see if that may suggest to Optic that they're in the pit, and with these BKBs freshly picked up, do they consider fighting it? Do you think they have the ways to win a fight at Roshan with BKBs?
I think they're too worried not having BKB on Alk, but they do have to go for the fight because if an Aegis is on Storm, that is such a big threat. Radiance is up on Alk. We'll see if he notices or not, but Roche at about half HP. They're actually looking like they're going to jump on Tims in the mid lane. He's going for the blink stun, but he can't quite see him, so he doesn't know.
That's what Tims is there for, so that they don't actually contest Roshan, and perhaps he was strong enough bait that he pulled them away. Alk still wants to fight this one. He's channeling stun. I don't know about this one. He's going to stun himself. He didn't have his blink dagger up. CNC in all sorts of trouble. The Terrorize going to catch him as well. Oh, Raven happy to go blinking in. Storm going for the backlines, finds the Winter Wyvern. He's very low. He's going to immediately lose his Aegis, though. That's maybe not the best thing for the Storm Spirit, who will be coming back to life in just a second. The Mirana BKB got caught by the Winter's Curse. They are going to still chase down CNC, bring him down the swap. It's going to help save them. Oh, save the Mirana. Nope, no, it does not do that. Mirana goes down, Venge hits the deck as well, post-swap. It's going to be Wraith King trying to chase down the Crystal Maiden, succeeds in doing so. And Armel on his second life, cleaning up, gets himself a double kill. Only Bloodseeker survives. The BKB is being helpful, but not game-changing.
Yeah. I mean, considering they had Aegis and Cheese, that wasn't bad for Optic Gaming, but getting in there late, CNC stunning himself, just catastrophic fight for Optic Gaming. They had to spend things like Cold Embrace just to buy him some time while he was stunned. I'm sure he was trying to go for the Manta dodge, but it's difficult to time. CC was not able to get out of that there.
Tim's Pycat, of a jewel going out. He's just dying to the Blade Mail. It's a Blade Mail kill. Okay.
Why is there so much gold?
He was full health.
600 for the Dark Willow, and then back on the other side, 500 for Pycat. That's the biggest chunk of gold Pycat's gotten all game.
Yeah, these solo kills, and I mean, for Pycat, it's because it's, you know, his team's kind of behind, and for Armel, it's you're killing core hero by yourself. They'll get you something.
The delayed Lincolns here are going to be really useful. They actually killed Storm pretty easily in that last fight. It was like one Frostbite, and that was it. Storm was dead.
So there's really two lockdowns to worry about. The Frostbite and then the Winter's Curse into Bloodright. So Lincolns will block both those initiations, Winter's Curse and Frostbite.
Yep. And Alk obviously still does have a blink stun, but I mean, the issue in the last fight was they got so late to the Roche pit, they didn't have sentries set up really, at least in the actual Roche area, so when CC came forward, there was just nobody go for it, and it wouldn't have been worth it for him to blink any more aggressively, so just difficult. It was kind of one of those moments where they're like, we know we should Roche. They just got there a little bit late. They got distracted going for the Willow. If they would have just charged the Roche pit, maybe that fight goes okay, but still so hard when they haven't as much map control game for them to show up late and try to take a good fight there.
Storm getting very out of control at this point. Level 23, about to hit 24, 26 Bloodstone charges. Carrying around this gem to get this full-on map control vision. Something you've been talking about, making it much more difficult for Optic to play their game.
If you look at their vision, it's basically just creep waves, pretty much, Manta illusions, stuff like that. So going to be less gold output for them as a whole.
Bit of a push going down bottom, but this has constantly been an area of the map that TNC have just full on ignored. They do not care about this bottom side whatsoever. Doesn't mean much as they hope to find pickoffs back up top.
And there's still going to be creeps high ground, which is slightly helpful, but you're totally right. Like, they're not going to stick anyone down here that's going to be able to threaten a tower. They don't have somebody like a TA or a Nature's Prophet or a Luna or something that could potentially threaten Rax. They just don't have anybody that does that. It's basically just Alchemist. He doesn't have BOTs yet either, so just no big threats.
Back at top. They know Willow TP bottom to defend, so they're going to try and initiate on Optic's side, but Once again, CCNC unable to find a target to drop his stun on.
Yeah, I don't blame him for not maintaining in some situations like this, just because if you burn the Manta, then that's an Orchid is going to counter you later, then you'd have to force a BKB. So in the right situations, I think it's fine for him not to Manta on those. But they finally leave their base a little bit, don't find a grab, and now they may be able to bait him a bit here. And here it comes.
Yep. CCNC, BKB dodges the stun. Nice start for him, but the Chemical Rage still in court, and they're going to try focus down Raven first. He's got a cheese as well as Reincarnation. Fuel Scepter going to delay his death even further as 33 is just getting kited around. Finally pops the BKB. You saw Maiden's ultimate being thrown, but no one really standing inside it. Raven, he's the one low and gonna just throw away his life because of the Reincarnation. Still has cheese on his respawn. Winter's Curse nicely placed on the Venge. Gonna need some firepower coming out from the cores here. Sam H just BKBs leaps away from the Ursa to get himself back to safety. Armel back up north. He's got one life just to play around with. That's all he needs. It's gonna be the Ursa first as well as the Wyvern. Already brought down Cuckoo. Getting fairly low here. The Alp just trying to bring him down. Will succeed in doing so. Still doesn't have Chemical Rage and is kind of on his own here as Raven is fighting, bringing down Pycat with the help of the Mirana. They're gonna team wipe Optic Gaming, turn it into an Armel triple kill, and put themselves in a fantastic place to take their first lane of racks.
That was a bit of a crazy dance in that engagement. So many people have like 2 lives and all this survivability, but the fight was going all over the place. I mean, Storm jumped instantly trying to take out the Winter Wyvern, but Aeon Disc buying him some time, and CCNC running around trying to score kills, but he's able to stay alive, but he's not doing that much damage just yet. Just now picking up his level 20. If he has that at the start of that fight, I feel like they might have been able to do a lot more.
Yeah. And Raven, like that's 2 big team fights in a row where he's actually the one who does the most hero damage between the Radiance and the Blade Mail. He just stands in the front line, pops his Blade Mail and says, hit me, Ursa. I don't mind. You kill me once, you have to commit either a Rage or BKB, and then in my second life, you lack that defensive tool and we can deal with you.
And even Bloodseeker doesn't feel like he can accomplish that much. Blood Rights gets a good rupture, but he basically traded his BKB and for the first Wraith King kill. And even that doesn't feel that great.
TNC happy to take not just one, but a second somewhat lane of racks as they get the melee racks in mid and the full set up top. Puts him in a great place here to perhaps even just wait for the next Roshan if they really want to. They're going to have such good map control, all these lanes pushing out. They've de-warded the majority of Optic's vision, apart from a single Observer ward, which may even get found fairly soon. And Optic are just so limited in what they can do at this stage of the game.
Well, they can always hope for the next Ags pickups. I guess he's queuing up a Shivas here.
Yeah, he's not even thinking about sharing yet.
Yeah, I don't know if that one's gonna matter. Oh, you can still do that. Okay, cool.
And dodges the stun. Raven, once again being focused first, but he doesn't care really that much. Unless he gets brought down a second time, which is unlikely. Storm just balling in forward, takes down the CM. Next is the Wyvern, doesn't have the Aeon Disc back up and dies immediately, forced to buy back. Armel has been ruptured, but he can just ball lightning away without taking any damage here. He's going to fall on back, chase down and bring down the Ursa. Helped out by Raven, and it's Venge in the front lines, who's getting fairly low, but doesn't really feel too afraid. Alk has to wait for at least the Chemical Rage to come back up, but even then, I don't know if he can fight this one 3v5. Just gonna make a go of it. 2 seconds till Rage. Okay, blinks forward.
Scary Ball Lightning comes in, though, looking to pick off the Winter Wyvern. He does still have the Aeon Disc, but yeah, easy pick off there and a swap back. CCNC gonna be focused as well, and that should be the end of the game.
It is. Armel just going off here. 16, 2, and 7. Fantastic showing from him. Even Raven making Wraith King look a bit more like a carry than most of the Wraith Kings we've been seeing. His frontline impact was very formidable.
And his laning stage was rough too. I mean, I didn't catch him that much on the screen, but it felt like him and the Ursa kind of just spread the lane maybe. He rotates for a couple fights, and then just eventually, boom, all of a sudden he's got a Radiance with a good fight. Just really commanding lead for TNC. Optic did have a decent Radiance timing, but it was delayed. And their other lanes went okay, but not amazing.
Yep.
And the pressure was just so heavy.
That's something you talked about. A lot of their wards were pretty far up on the map, and they weren't really protecting the Alk enough, maybe.
He died. He didn't die that much, though. I felt like 1, 2 deaths that were kind of crucial, perhaps. And yeah, maybe some defensive wards would have been helpful. They would have spotted maybe 1 or 2 rotations. A couple of those medium camp blocks, maybe those were really more significant than I was making it out to be. Also a possibility. But it also felt like Ursa and the Bloodseeker, they still had disable problems. And especially in the late game, it felt like the item solution to the whole game was a Linken's on Storm. Because he jumps in, he breaks the Aeon Disc on the Wyvern, and the only way they can stop him there is a Frostbite. and they stop it instantly.
Yeah, we didn't see any of those big game-changing Winter's Curses, really. There was a nice one on Storm where they solo killed him with the Bloodright follow-up, but there wasn't teamfight impact, particularly late game, because, yeah, Lincoln's was so hard to deal with. So
yeah, the Storm Spirit really felt like a solid hero that game. It's somebody that doesn't really care about Ursa at any stage, really. So even with the early Ursa pick, they had solutions at all stages of the game, and they played really well. So pretty solid for TNC. Absolutely.
TNC get a important win here in Group B, where things are so tight that every win matters a lot. We'll see if they get the 2 or if Optic can take another 1-1. It's kind of been a bit of a trend to get these draws, so it may just be the case, but we'll take a break and find out what's happening in game number 2. Let's do this. Time now for game number 2, TNC versus Optic Gaming. Pretty good game number 1.
It was.
By TNC at least.
Yeah, very dominant performance. Optic definitely fell on the back foot. For the majority of it, it kind of felt like a let's wait until there's a moment that we can actually take a close team fight. But even from a spectator perspective, it definitely looked one-sided for the majority of that, except for maybe the laning stage looked pretty good for Optic.
Yeah, there were moments, yeah, where like the Ursa was off to a good start, Bloodseeker seemed to be laning just fine, but once plays started happening, that's where TNC looked really good.
Yeah, it seems like it's important that in that Power Treads Aquila to Radiance period for Alchemist, that it's really important that your team isn't losing pretty bad there, that you're able to set tempo. Like, if you can win your lanes and push that into forcing your opponents to react to you, and then all of a sudden, like, 5 to 10 minutes later, you have a Radiance, it's like the game feels easier. But if you're being super pressured while you're trying to scrap together the gold that you can get to get that Radiance, it feels like the game's really hard.
I would say that's a very good sign for TNC as a whole, because when you're versing an Alchemist, you're put in this situation where you have to go out and aggressively win the game. Like, you can't just sit back, play stable Dota. You have to play differently when you're versing an Alch, and they did that. They played this aggressive style. They didn't play not to lose. They played to win, and that worked.
Yeah, and they did a good job blocking camps and things like that. It forced just so much time. If they spend a hero's time to go block a camp, then one of the supports on the Optic side has to spend 100 gold to go put a sentry down, deboard something. Like the whole game, Peter was trying to build an urn of shadows, and he didn't get there. Like, that was how bad the game was.
Sad times for a CM.
5 seconds remaining.
Don't think it would have helped much, but you never know. So first
here, I believe these are mostly the same bands. We didn't see any of these 5 heroes in game 1, so I'm going to assume these are the same bands.
The Dire heroes are a little wacky for the first phase. I guess the Tiny's not abnormal. Weaver seems like an Optic special, and TNC Open, same thing. Mirana pick, safe in the lanes, transitions, has lots of item build opportunities. Good pick.
Yep. Absolutely. TNC now, it was 2 games in a row with first pick, right? They first picked Mirana last game.
Yeah, but they do swap sides this time.
Yes. So I'm not sure what it was in game 1, but this time around, TNC chose first pick and Optic chose Radiant. So game 1, Optic maybe chose second pick or something different.
Remaining.
Some teams have been choosing second pick. It's been kind of all over the place. I've seen teams who choose Dire. Here, Optic chose Radiant. Doesn't really seem like there's an obvious, oh, this first pick is better or second pick is.
Gaming's turn to pick.
Maybe could do a lot with like expecting what heroes your opponents value. Like, if it seems like there's a lot of cores that are potentially vulnerable that people are picking in first and second phase, like, you know, Bloodseeker, Ursus sometimes, and Storm has felt like kind of a surprise pick to me so far. It's always like a 4th or 5th pick that just is generally quite good. For whatever reasons, maybe just matches up well against the typical heroes right now.
Seems particularly strong. Like the 4th pick Storm, when like you know your opponents have the last pick and you can 4th pick a Storm, there's no stuns there, and then you can ban out like a counter or some problematic hero, and all they do is like it's that 1 pick to respond factor where it's just not enough time to deal with it.
How do you feel about the Dragon Knight first phase? It feels a little early to me.
Yeah, that seems like we just really want this hero because it's comfortable for us and we've had success on it, but I don't think you'll see another team in this tournament first to pick DK. No matter what happens this game.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Definitely good for setting tempo and pushing towers, and generally just laning well mid, not being that pressurable, and then it can scale well too. But generally when we've seen it, it's been like a second phase kind of hero because your opponents have a lot of physical damage, and that isn't really necessarily what we're going to see just yet with the Mirana Darkwill. And almost every Mirana builds Maelstrom anyways, so maybe not the best solution. But I guess if he gets arrowed and stuff, he'll be tanky. But
it's very different to like just other teams who, you know, first 2, like the Ursas, the Wraith Kings it was yesterday, who've, I think the Wraith Kings have been slowed off on. Clinks has been a first 2, that's been another kind of top meta pick. Some first 2 Spectre's been going on now with Spectre just constantly winning games. I feel like that's probably a hero with one of the higher win rates here.
It did get picked first phase against EG on a different stream.
Yes.
And I believe I saw a tweet about it saying that they lost, that EG beat it with Ursa.
Oh, yeah. So that game, I think they destroyed it.
But that might not mean much because EG is 9-1, so
that
maybe EG is just the best team at the tournament right now. That's what it seems like in groups. Who knows? Maybe there's some solutions on the other side.
Most picked is no longer, well, it is still Wraith King, but he's tied for most picked with Venge.
With Venge, okay. How's Crystal Maiden doing? 26? I still have a little hope, but let's be real. Venge is the more valuable hero.
Mirana, 28 picks, third most picked, with 64% win rate though, whereas Venge and Wraith King are 40 to 46%, which is kind of low. I mean, CM is a high win rate.
Yeah, and then there's Winter Wyvern down there at 19 picks, 68%.
Yeah.
And Lena apparently 73% 15 picks. I can't believe that. I feel like I've seen a lot of Lena losses personally.
Yeah, and I guess it's a fairly. I mean, it's all small sample size to a certain extent, but 15 games, you know. It's kind of also dependent on which team picked it, where you pick it.
Yeah, absolutely. Small sample size almost doesn't mean stuff in Pro Dota though. It's like one of those things that's really hard to quantify. Even if you how do you even get a lot of data? You know, it's not. I guess if you had the same lineups being scrimmed constantly, maybe there'd be more insight. But every game is just so dynamically different.
The hero I was surprised isn't being picked more is just the standard PL carry. Like, why everyone's doing all these weird Clinkses and Urses and Spectres. Guys, PL is amazing. He also destroys Clinks, as we saw in one of our games. He has an 81.82 win rate. I think he's 9-2.
Wow.
That's 11 games, though. So he's 9 wins and 2 losses.
I would say one thing that's weak about PL for some of the other cores that are picked right now is that in lane, he's not that offensively strong. He's really good defensively. He's okay offensively, but he doesn't like super stomp any lanes, any of these dual lanes. So obviously it's great to get him to like the Manta Diffusal Heart territory so that he's just almost impossible to kill. He has a lot of advantage there, but the laning does still seem to be a huge focus right now.
Yeah. Monkey King 0-6. Zeus 0-5. Some surprises. One you'll like. Undying, 7 wins, 1 loss.
I'll let you know, gods, that for the highest win rate hero, minimum 5 games, I picked Undying.
Ooh.
Bring it to me, Undying. I knew he would be the perfect example that he's like he's not like valued enough for everybody just throws him in. He's one of those like I'm gonna poop on lanes or I'm gonna have a really good team fight. I feel like he's being used really smart right now.
Where is that?
That's the one thing that I feel good about right now. It's right there, somewhere. You put Pugna down.
Pugna, okay. I feel okay about that. How's Pugna doing? Probably terrible.
He's really heavily picked.
42%.
Right?
He's only been played 12. No, he's got plenty of games left.
40 is that's a bad percentage to come back from.
Yeah, it's minimum 5 games. There's gonna be some heroes like maybe Undying that just don't get picked that much more. I mean, I think Undying will actually, but
yeah,
there's gonna be some heroes that right now being picked 5 or 6 times with like 60% that just don't get picked again.
Or maybe they get picked like 3 more times, and then all of a sudden it's just barely peaks up. Yeah, something like that. In the meantime, we get a Brood ban, we get a Chen ban, and we get another Drow ban. Seems like if somebody has Mirana, you have to ban Drow out.
Yep.
Just a little bit too hard to play against.
There's a few teams that do kind of fall back on those Drow strats quite a bit. Some of the NA teams, TNC have as well. So they've actually just ran at one of the games I glanced. I think it was against VP. They had a Drow strat. So.
Well, it seems like TNC is very worried about pushing right now, which is kind of reflected when Optic opened with. I mean, we were talking about Dragon Knight being like a stable mid, but we absolutely neglected the fact that Venge is, in a pinch, a very good support pusher kind of hero. Although I would argue that that aspect of her is not really why she's played right now. Like, you give aura damage and you push towers, but in the past that was more of like a cheesy like aura plus other things. I was thinking Bloodseeker maybe for like swap advantage and because it's good against Mirana, so I like the Bloodseeker here too. It's a good way to open it, and it just seems like it's a staple core. Just hopefully he gets more farm this game.
Seems like a core you can pick even when you don't know what your lane is going to be. If you want to just send it to a tougher lane and then pick a greedier hero to send to whatever the easier lane looks to be.
And he's got jacked thigh muscles too. That's because he stands weird all the time, you know? Just hunched over. He's like constantly squatting, actually. Bloodseeker's life is like, I'm perpetually in squat formation.
It's all that running around the map. He exercises more than anyone.
That's true, I guess. That's probably why they're huge.
Lion.
Couldn't do that with skinny legs. Lion.
Maybe. You never know.
So Lion Dark Willow support duo. We'll see how that puts the Mirana. This hero's mostly been kind of that offlane-ish role, 3 position.
So what do you think the purpose here is? I mean, I'm seeing a lot of magic damage, so they can deal with DK and Bloodseeker.
Yes.
I'm seeing a lot of bursts, which is pretty good. If you catch Bloodseeker and he has Blood Rage on, just blow him up instantly. Do you see anything else past that would make Lion a good pick here? Because I feel like it's usually a little bit more straightforward why it's stacked.
Reliable disable initiation as well, something that Mirana Willow don't give you.
That's true.
So if you want to pick cores that don't have lockdown, you've got Lion who will eventually get a Blink Hex if you need, or Blink Impale, whatever. He'll get a Blink Dagger.
Yeah, that's true, I guess.
But I think the points you laid out were more the core reason, which is magic damage against DK, Bloodseeker, burst damage against pretty tanky heroes that you kind of need.
They're just basically covering their bases against something like a potential storm, because one disable of any kind means that Dark Willow can do a Terrorize, and it'll probably be with Bramble Mazes, and that's almost always going to be a guaranteed core kill.
And pseudo set for like a Mirana Arrow 2 at some point with the Impale, so it's not like the best of setups, but it is a setup of sorts.
I do like Earth Spirit as a bit of a solution, though. Silences, gap close, disables, things like that can be really effective against heroes like Dark Will Online. So I don't think we've casted an Earth Spirit game yet. I'm excited to catch it. I've seen some on other streams and other matches.
It was Baboka actually played a game of it.
Okay. I think that was the one against Liquid.
Yeah, it was one against Liquid.
How's Earth Spirit doing?
Apparently, Fog was saying he killed Miracle like 4 or 5 times, but then they ended up losing the game. So.
Okay, that's why they were tipping back and forth. I understand that.
That's the game where Miracle tipped him mid-team fight. So. We'll see how it does here. I'm not sold on Earth Spirit's viability. I think there's a few heroes that, teams are going to like and want to try out. Centra is one of those where it's like, okay, he's not terrible, but there's normally better options for what this hero is looking to achieve.
Well, I think this is a perfect game for it, though, because he's up against heroes that don't have high HP, that do have to cast spells to stay alive or defend themselves or do offensive things.
Yeah.
And if you play Earth Spirit correctly, that is the perfect circumstance for him.
I
If he initiates first.
This is another good Wraith King game, though. Good against Bloodseeker, as we saw last game. Don't really care about the Earth Spirit stuns and silences too much because, if you can't cast spells, you're going to survive until you can cast spells, typically. And no mana burn heroes in sight as well as of yet.
Yeah, probably won't see that happen.
10 seconds
Might see a
remaining.
PL ban last or something. I feel like you should ban that PL.
Against
5
Optic.
seconds remaining.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they do get the last pick as well, so final call here for Optic. And since they cover their bases so well in their disable types right now, I definitely feel better about them going for that kind of a lineup.
Monkey gets banned. Optic has not been doing their Dota buff research. 0 and 6, guys, come on.
They must be worried about like Dragonite in the mid lane or something, because maybe that's one place where he's just got no chance.
It's definitely here that can snowball off of a favorable lane matchup. Not something you want to just be giving away willy-nilly.
As we saw in the OG games, sometimes hard to close those games out, even if you do have a good time going for you here.
Ban the Clinks, so...
Yeah.
I mean, they've got the strafe against the Wraith Fire Blast, so it makes it hard to initiate for Wraith King, but most of the other heroes not throwing around projectiles.
Oh, but I would say Clinks is definitely another hero. I mean, it's a high damage, mobility ganker. And again, heroes that need to cast spells to defend themselves against that are usually the ones that are weak to it, especially if he goes more damage heavy. Even if you skip something like, I don't know, Maelstrom. Yeah. Nobody goes like Orchid or anything right now, but that could be effective. It would have been really good against Huskar too.
Juicy, juicy pick. This makes it difficult for Optic for the mid lane. DK, Bloodseeker don't really want to lane against this fella, but Optic do have a final pick if they want to send DK to the side lane, as they have done many times before in the past. It's not just CCNC who plays it. They'll run it off lane on 33. Teams have even run safe lane DK, so...
And by far the worst thing about it, doing that, is that your lane just ends up becoming a little bit overly defensive. You don't have as much kill opportunities. So, that would kind of be sustainable, I guess, as long as the supports kind of get stuff done, and Earth Spirit's good at that. So as long as he gets some last hits,
good at it. They only have a few seconds to pick. We'll see what that is in a second. Invoker, ooh. Yeah. He's good at it, but he doesn't want to lane with like a DK or something. If you're told as an Earth Spirit, oh, you got a DK to lane with, that just sounds like, oh, what am I going to do?
Is CCNC an Invoker player? Is this new?
It is. He's been playing it a lot in pubs.
Okay.
Being, I guess, picking up, learning the hero bit. He's got a 6 set, so, he's got the Dark Wizard set.
And hopefully that will be the best Invoker set available on the market in the next 3 months.
Is that not on the market?
I was making an Immortal or a Arcana joke, but...
Oh, okay.
And by 3 months, I mean 9 months, but...
Was that one of the ones from the recent...
It's the last head-to-head, isn't it? Oh, no, isn't it Rubik? Did Invoker lose? Oh, that's right, Invoker lost.
Oh, okay. No,
that's
I'm
right.
confused what you're
My
talking
bad.
about.
I was way off. It's,
end of the day, last game of the day.
It's Void Rubik. That's the remainder.
Yes.
The Invoker upset happened, and it's gone now.
Yeah, I'm just going to use our platform to quickly let viewers know you should be voting for Faceless Void.
Exactly.
Won't accept any Rubik votes.
I want those Rubik players to be angry for a second year in a row. That sounds fun to me.
Yes. If you're on the fence, just think about annoying other people. That's why we all play Dota. You're not really playing. No one enjoys Dota for themselves. They enjoy pissing off other people.
So what do you think about the Invoker this game? Do you think he's going to go Quas Wex is question one? But I also feel like Sunstrike would be really good against Huskar too.
Yes,
so.
Exor. I believe it is. I think you need it for the last hitting, for the laning stage. Cold Snap with Earth Spirit rotations. I think Earth Spirit may prioritize the mid lane more than the side lanes even.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's
Like Forge Spirit plus Cold Snap and an Earth Spirit roam,
Yep.
Huskar dies for sure. His armor's way too low.
Why Earth Spirit used to be like the best forward position and one of the most played was just because you just keep on ganking and crushing the mid lane. You're a mid lane supporter. You never really played too much around side lanes.
So with that said, how did the other lanes work out? What's the Bloodseeker matchup they want? What's the Dragonite matchup they want? I guess it's 3/3 Dragonite, so it looks like it'll be off lane. But
you may just you got to choose one of them to kind of prioritize PPD supporting, and then the other you just accept they're going to have a kind of bad lane, bad game. What is it? The Wraith. You probably maybe just send one here against Wraith King because that's lower kill potential than the Mirana +1 lane, but even Wraith King Willow can kill whoever or whatever it is, Wraith King Lion. Both support plus cores have high kill potential.
Did Sunstrike the courier? No. So it will be Exort
Prepare
for
for
sure for CCNC here. We'll see how he works out on this player. They've got so many stuns. There's going to be plenty of Sunstrike potential this game, and even playing around with that stuff in Bloodseeker is fun. They've got Rupture, they've got Swap, they've got Earth Spirit, Boulder Smash if they want to deal some damage in that way. There's lots of fun ways to make more use of their heroes this game.
All right, well, here we go. We get to see a CCNC Invoker. Where's he going to throw that next Sunstrike? He's still singing Founding. Gotta imagine it's coming.
Wish I could play your perspective right now. It'd be great.
Yeah.
And they're actually going to change up the lanes. Huskar's going to be safe lane. They'll put Armel in the mid lane instead. That way he doesn't have to deal with the Invoker and the Earth Spirit roam. It does sound a little bit too severe. It would be hard to play around that.
He's holding on to the Sunstrike because he hopes his team finds that initial first blood for him.
30
They smoked up top. He
seconds
actually popped, but not quite in the position they were hoping for. Cuckoo nearby.
They do spot Zai running past, but this may
Scout
be
each
the
other
bait
now.
here.
Yeah, they're going to go running after him. Cuckoo could be in some trouble. PPD going to set up the stun into a roll here, and the silence. The Sunstrike's there. He does not get the last hit, but it still goes the way of Optic Gaming. It goes to Pycat. Not quite the outcome you want, but still a favorable outcome for Optic.
Yeah. I like how they did that. It's like they waited for a very long time. They knew their opponents were playing safe. They walked Earth Spirit past just to make it seem like he was putting wards down or something like that, but only him. And then they just waited back with Peter hiding behind the tree. That way they could lay the trap and still get the kill. The benefit of all the nukes that they have, really.
Yeah.
It's like 100 damage from each person involved in that fight.
Very nicely done. See, Tim's headed towards mid. Knowing there was a courier and some bounty runes going Optic's way, he wants to snipe this courier, and it looks like he may as well do it. Courier snipes have become quite infrequent, which means this is more likely to work. He won't get it on the way out, but he will get it on the way back, I can only imagine. Unless he micros it an odd direction for whatever reason. But he is not sending it anywhere bizarre.
Goodbye, little courier.
Yep.
Radiant
in
courier
peace.
has been
TP's
killed.
immediately to the bottom lane, where it is going to be the DK in the solo lane. It's not Earth Spirit initially mid. They're tri-laning up top, trying to get an initial kill, and they will get a second initial kill, which they'll get. I kind of like this, because you can secure a side lane, and then you're no longer needed there. You can go mid. Whereas if you start bottom, it's like kind of, you're already sapping XP, so once you leave, your DK's in a really bad shape because you've shared XP and you're leaving him alone.
Yeah, I mean, this is like maybe one lane that I'm not too worried about ditching for the first minute or so, because Dragonite's not going to really abuse the Wraith King. Wraith King's not really going to abuse Dragonite, but I mean, like you said, Dark Will is not going to be able to do that much past sapping experience here and right-clicking a bit, so it definitely looks good for Optic.
They also sent Mirana mid, actually worth noting. We were kind of mentioning a potential Husker mid.
Yep.
No longer the case with the Invoker pickup and also the Earth Spirit in the playing field. That would just be a pretty tough lane for Husker to play, so he is going to be playing up top. But that's against the tri-lane. They do find Earth Spirit in the trees up here.
Dire's middle tower is
Doesn't
under
look like
attack.
much is going to come of it, although Raven is swinging on over.
Either way, Earth Spirit trades pretty well right now. He's got 2.7 armor. He's like a rare strength hero that still has pretty respectable survivability early on. And against a hero like a Lion, this is only going to get worse here. Get some blocks in. One Orb of Venom hit, needs one or two more to get the stun.
Down bottom, 33 got very low. Not sure if we'll see a kill up here. Still chasing the line is Earth Spirit. Cuckoo should be able to get back to the tower safety, but they almost brought down 33. He popped the salve and had it broken, but it did kind of save his life as Wraith King got a crit. They stunned him and caught him in the Bramble Maze. This is what you're going to do against a hero like a solo DK down here, is just bully him. Even if you can't kill him, get him down nice and low so that he can't stay in the lane.
It definitely helps to have all the spell damage at least. He actually executes a pull here and instantly ditches the lane, which is probably the right thing to do. I mean, still, one of the creeps gets denied, and Tim's is going to get some of that pull experience, but at the very least, by the time he is in base, he's going to be able to teleport back and get some experience.
Yeah, the wave is going to be closer to his tower, and in some that neutral camp is not worth much gold or XP, so he doesn't need to stay there for the newts. I'd much rather be back for the creep lane XP, although he is missing that into the tower. He glyphs it. Yeah. That's one way to make sure you get. Normally you see these glyphs around the mid lane, but he's going to use it down bottom, and now able to TP back. Although, unfortunately for him, Tim's has done a side pull.
CC trying to get a kill mid here. They've got the Earth Spirit as well. They've got the stun. It's going to buy a little time.
Armo's in very deep. Pounces, doesn't get all the way out of there. Has another pounce, but he needs to get to the high ground, and his Fairy Fire not going to be used. His TP was in his backpack, so not sure he could have even escaped there if he wanted to.
But can you turn in that little corner? I assume he could have leapt onto the high ground. Maybe he didn't feel like it was worth it for the heal aspect.
Yeah.
But
I mean, you can turn in any corner. What do you mean? If you're talking about like just face your hero a certain direction?
I really thought he was going to leap to the high ground and get out that way, but yeah, maybe it's just easier to die and respawn like the typical.
It's quite hard to do. You can use the directional movement, but a lot of players don't use that.
Yeah, I turned that on once and was very confused and never went back.
Yeah. That's one of those hockeys that I think is a small niche of players maybe use. SF players probably use it.
Yeah, absolutely. So Huskar pretty zoned at this point. Hasn't even bothered to grab Burning Spears yet, knowing that it's more important to stay alive in this lane where he can just be triple stunned and chased down on Sunstrike. So even though they did dodge the scary lane for the Huskar, it kind of feels like he's still being shut down. Although he does pick up a Helm of Iron Will kind of out of nowhere. I'm sure the Courier Snipe helping a lot with that one.
Yep, bit of extra gold. Also just, having nothing in terms of items. No boots, no wands, just going straight for this Helm for the regen item. Gets stunned at the top lane, followed up by a silence here. That's going to get him very low, and Pycat with all this extra movement speed, 2 points in the third, should be able to chase him down. 1 or 2 more right clicks, but he's getting chain stunned here with the Hex into the Impale. Raven gets back to the tower as PPD wanted to chase further. I think probably could have got the kill with PPD chasing as well, with Pycat chasing as well.
Yeah, maybe.
Might have cost him, like taking the tower shots. It's always a bit risky if someone TP's in.
Especially with this early 5 armor. Like, Raven going straight for the Helm of Iron Will is such a great idea, because sitting under tower like that, he was getting about 30 HP per second with Inner Vitality. So, worked out nice. He does stake a Bounty Rune as well, TPing out here. Ooh, the camera weird. Doesn't get the stun just in time. So 3 bounties going to TNC's side, so they've got to feel good about this one. 3-3 even wasting his time walking around. He's kind of off laning the Radiant side. Going to pull creeps, I guess.
Wow, okay. Safe lane's pulling creeps, why not? It's no longer really the safe lane these days. I think some of those names are perhaps a bit outdated, at least in meaning. Nice first hit crit, as Sam H is looking to chase down 33. Should succeed in doing so, and get the kill, as it does look like DK at least spent his money before he goes down there. Not that he had all too much of it, so to speak. I
mean, he's running around at 283 movement speed. It's pretty hard for him to do this creep pulling thing when your opponents have like a full Treads up on top of you. So
he's being sacked, but I think his team's probably just saying something along the lines of, Huskar's having just as bad of a time as you. Bottom river, they're going to see an Impale into an arrow. Should be the death of Zai. Goes for a stun, no roll in time though.
Yep. Tim's very familiar playing against Earth Spirit or playing as Earth Spirit, so dodges the Boulder Smash that would hit 3, and then a couple more right clicks is the easy kill. So
they came down bottom because they want to push. Yeah, they have a Skelly army going already, and he's got additional Skellies to summon. These are the ones I believe from that kill that he got. So with the siege creep here, they want to take down this tier 1. Raven, the carry of sorts, keeping in at level 3. But hey, why not? That's what you gotta do sometimes. Yep. They want this 33 kill, and they've got the magic damage from the Burning Spears, as well as the Dark Willow here. He's going to follow it up with a Shadow Realm hit. Should be close to a kill here.
He's surely making them work for it.
Yeah.
And I think that's honestly okay. The amount of time that they spent to blow him up was... the creep wave's dead.
They did keep the siege creep alive, though, and with some skeletons, they should be able to bring it down still. Looks like Radiant do have a glyph. Not sure if they're going to use it here. TNC tanking tower shots now just to make sure they get this tower. They will succeed. Raven even gained the last hit.
Yeah, they give it to him so he can get back into this.
Sunstrike not going to land. Leap away as Zai's level 1 stun does not last particularly long. Something that CCNC may be over
expecting, the double stun. But even with that, it's still only, what, 0.5 seconds per level. Used to stun a little bit longer.
Yeah, level 1 I think used to be a full second even.
Yeah, and that's one of the nice things that TNC's done is they kind of cut their losses, basically. So when you do an aggressive tri-lane like this, if the enemies just leave the lane, then you just never find kills no matter what. Great arrow on Peter.
Oh, yeah. Tims is going to follow up with a Curse Ground for some even more stun duration. Peter tries to deny himself to these newts. Won't succeed in doing so as they make their way to the shrine.
So now, because they haven't been able to catch up as many kills randomly across the map, Zai doesn't have as much to grab the Sunstrike kill made. It all kind of cascades here.
Raven down bottom. He needs to be careful, though. There's a lot of heroes coming his way, including a Bloodseeker with Rupture.
Well, I think they'll see the Dragon Knight coming. Yep. Without too much worry here, but...
he should know this top lane might be the safe place to farm, although Samh is already up there, so... yeah, he's going to TP his way out of there. Go for the jungle, in fact.
So last hit-wise, pretty even across the board. Very even game gold-wise.
Yep.
Tower's dead on both sides. We're pretty much mirror images here. I guess I would argue Dragon Knight playing from behind is not as bad as Huskar. It's maybe something you could say, but Huskar has more ability to kind of snowball out of control in a short period of time.
It's also like the farm distribution in general, like Optic. I'd say OG. They are an OG, but not the one most viewers would think. They've got it on, you know, their main carry, Pycat, and their mid CCNC Invoker, whereas TNC, their top farmer is Samh. He's normally like the playmaking initiator who has less farm, so they're just going to be less comfortable when Raven's having a bad game. Whereas 33 having a bad game, you know, that's a 3-position normal thing.
Yep, and still here that can absolutely contribute in that way. Land stuns at the right time, move around pushing, split push, that kind of stuff, but... Samh going to TP out, prepping for a smoke here at the shrine, and they group up. I don't think that one was spotted by the Radiant team. They've got decent wards, actually, to control any kind of aggressive movement, and they're predicting something. They put the scan down, but it's a little early, actually.
Yeah, I wonder if that will mislead Pycat, who is trying to farm this small camp here.
Oh, was a dire scan, excuse me.
Oh, Samh going to scout him out. He walked into the bramble, unfortunately, and there's going to be a stun to follow it up with the Wraith Fire Blast. There's going to be a arrow and a Curse Ground. Pycat doesn't get a chance to cast a single spell there.
Bramble is so tough, man. You're trying to hurry, but sometimes you just don't expect the cast range to catch you in. One little Bramble and everything's set up. So they will start the pressure mid at least. All you need is a Brown Boots and a Belt of Strength, and Dragon Knight feels valuable here. Get some tower damage in.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Tries best not to stun his friends.
This is some casual tower damage here. Samh shows up with a Wraith Fire Blast. Not sure there's the best follow-up. This Impale just level 2. Lion. Not really particularly high level. It's 10 minutes in, he's still only level 3. Desperately going to need some experience somewhere on the map as Optic look to continue pressuring this tier 1. Salve up on the DK, he's going to keep chipping it whenever he can with the corrosive attack from his Green Dragon. He gets stunned again. Armel blinks it with the Starstorm, and that's going to be enough to bring down 33.
Yeah, isn't able to get his wand off in time. Little too much burst damage, a little too hard to force that one. Another death for 33, but still not that much gold. I mean, his net worth is literally 100 away from Earth Spirit's position, so it does force a lot of reactions. A lot of spells were used there, and even still, the supports on the enemy team aren't even that highly leveled, so it doesn't feel that bad to me.
Huskar's game has been a bit salvaged, though. He's back up to getting an armlet, his boots on the way as well, so it's no longer just the story of an underfarmed Huskar and DK who is struggling and falling behind. It's now really just the DK who's suffering.
I would say the biggest lacking from those levels. So level 6 on Huskar at this stage is certainly low. So it should be easy to kill him. His damage output is still going to be high, but his survivability won't be impregnable like normal. So if they can rotate the right heroes over, absolutely they can get a kill on this guy.
Seeing a smoke from the Optic supports as they look to perhaps team up with Pycat. He's the most farmed Radiant hero. And unlike the Invoker, who's also very farmed, he's the one who wants to fight more and be aggressive, make some plays happen. So playing around him is definitely the right call, as we'll see what they can achieve up top. Even just taking a tier 2 tower here, it's 11 minutes in. That's a nice pickup for them if they can get it. Instead, it's going to be Dark Willow who runs into them with the Shadow Realm and immediately pops the smoke and gets out.
Zai doing a good job trying to get the silence off in time, but doesn't catch him before the Shadow Realm. So would have been an easy kill otherwise. And they did spot the, I believe, the Mirana, as well as the, I think it was the Wraith King used to be down there, so they felt comfortable trying to make a play there.
I used Moonlight Shadow, it looks like to initiate on mid, but they actually spotted the Wraith King going invis up top, I believe, so.
Yeah, in the Sentry mid lane, spotting him out. Oh,
Raven.
that's
a Sunstrike. Oh my, in base, CCNC.
Where did he see him from? There's
Must have predicted it.
I mean, he saw him in the jungle earlier, maybe. They go for a D-ward now, but that was like...
He saw him with the Bloodseeker passive.
Oh, okay. That makes a lot of sense.
And he's probably armlet toggling, gets low.
Yeah. Has to predict. Maybe he forgot
Rest
about
is history, yeah. I mean, he may have, yeah, it's one of those things you may see the thirst on you, but then think, oh, I'm fine, and then, yeah, Sunstrike comes out.
Well, that's a huge one.
Nicely done. Yeah.
449 gold going to CCNC for that one. That's half of a piece of his Aghanim Scepter parts.
So, see Optic continue to play around this top side of the map. Wraith King did finish his blink now, and immediately smoking up with Armel. And looking to make some plays happen. It was also Lion who's hit level 6 finally. So 13 minutes in, I believe he used that experience tome.
Ooh, perfect grab here if they can get him.
Yeah, he's got 4 orbs. He wants to plant some of these nice and deep. There's an arrow follow-up. Easy kill. Don't even have to use that long cooldown of Finger of Death. So even better.
This is what the line does. Earth Spike into an arrow, that's a guaranteed kill every single time, and it still has the ability to do so many other things. If that's a Shadow Demon and he buys a BKB, then this doesn't work out as long, but Lion has absolutely shown his value so far.
Yep. He's going to plant some of those 4 ops that he'd been stocking up. Cuckoo getting those fantasy points. Getting them nice and deep in some slightly unconventional places. We'll see if PPD can sniff him out or not.
Well, tower falls. Is I going to try for a solo kill mid, or top that is.
Didn't hit the roll, but doesn't seem to matter. He still hits the stun and the silence. The damage over time from the Magnetize is going to be enough. Gets the kill back at mid. Vengeful Spirit King initiate on. They're going to take down the Wraith King, but he has got the Reincarnation. Rupture, though, is going to be there when he respawns if they want to throw it out. Don't even know they do need it. And there's going to be a Chaos Meteor to bring down Sam H a second time, but comes at the cost of the Dragon Knight. Still seems like a decent hold for Optic.
Yeah, a lot of choices there for 3-3 to make. Does he go for the Huskar stun? But I think stunning the Wraith King under tower is definitely the right move. Maybe he's blink aggressively to get in, not quite sure. But again, he's kind of just spending his hero's resources in the way that he's just trying to get as tanky as possible and forcing his opponents to spend spells on him. And he's absolutely succeeding there.
Coming in Invis is Armel, and he's got a Lion to back him up. So which one are they going to go on here? Earth Spirit's nearby, though, and he's got that long range roll to help people out. The arrow going to follow up with a Starstorm. They need to kill Pycat and kill him quick. They do succeed in doing so. There's a Hex as well, but Lion in all sorts of trouble. Will end up going down.
Wasted Terrorize at least, so small value there for Optic, but losing a carry like that for a support, not a good spot to be in the meantime, Raven's still just getting lots of farm on the top lane, queuing up treads, aiming for a halberd afterwards, but I think Optic has got to be happy with the position that the Huskar is in this game. I just don't think he's going to be the biggest threat. On the bright side, bounties aplenty for TNC as they glide to a 2k gold advantage.
I think the issue becomes it really isn't just about Huskar, though, because both Wraith King and Mirana are farming very well and both will scale well. Wraith King going for the same build we saw last game, at least queued up. Blink, Blade Mail, Radiance, and this is I feel like this is probably the most standard common Wraith King build I see, at least in pro games as well as some pub games, is that you just get the Blade Mail and then you farm up this big Radiance time, and you can still fight while you're farming for the Radiance. Like even when you have 3-4k gold stocked up, you're still very useful, assuming you have Reincarnation.
Yeah, that's a good point. Peter Van Dam going to get caught here by the gank here. Tim's actually misclicking with his shadow thing, but Venge might stay alive, actually.
The raindrops helping save his life there, it looks like.
I mean, if he didn't misclick, that was a kill.
Yep.
Probably. I guess it would have raindrop blocked all the damage, but perhaps.
Not bad for TNC, who may be eyeing off Roshan fairly soon. Huskar, of course, a hero that always wants to grab that early Aegis as much as possible.
And Optic actually just kind of playing passive for the last 5 or so minutes. TNC's doing a great job, like grouping up and smoking at the right times, but on Optic's side, looks like they want a little time. Still 1,000 gold till BKB and Bloodseeker, so that the fights will go better there. And again, what's another smoke?
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
CC is definitely who they want.
Yeah, they would love to find the Invoker. They think he's farming very safely out here up in the top lane, but it's not the case.
He'll probably just stick around. I mean, it's a long ways to like Forge Spirits to push lanes out. But he could actually kill this Huskar, though, with like a Cold Snap and a Meteor. I guess he would still ulti Life Break, remove the Cold Snap, and be fine. So maybe this is a really hard kill.
It's not, I guess, not a guarantee enough. We'll see if he pokes his head out or not. There's been these TNC heroes have been missing for so long now that, yeah, they're going to reveal themselves. At this point, you're just assuming, like, if someone's up here, they realize we've been missing for a good 45 seconds. Mid lane CCNC terrorized, pushed back into a Bramble Maze. Armel going to line up an arrow with a leap. Doesn't get the Starstorm out, though. I don't think there was going to be quite enough damage regardless, and the arrow duration was just... To hit the arrow, he had to leap forward, so that was a very short arrow stun. And they won't get the kill, but they are pushing top, so not the end of the world.
Tim's putting a big show of force in here, even though he's literally the only person here. No cooldowns, no mana pool. Zai might spot him, but that was a nice little move by him. Like, no other way can you convince, like, please slow down this push than TPing in that aggressively with that little spells and casting something. And here they come this time, though.
TP in 33, just holding his ground to try and secure the tower. Perhaps just willing to throw away his life for the cause, but Optic maybe have other ideas. They've got a lot of people up here. They're going to see Lion finger the Earth Spirit. They want to bring him down before he uses any spells. The Magnetize does not come out, and Wraith King wants to chase. He's got Blink soon. Can he get it off? He blinks forward, finds, well, a couple of stuns, but he tanks those with a Reincarnation. I don't think he cares if he dies here. He's slowed 2 heroes, killing him. Maybe the death of Optic, and that's why you just want to leave Wraith King alive half the time. They lose 2 heroes just for a Reincarnation cooldown. That is not worth it for them.
Yeah, as soon as they lost the Earth Spirit, they needed to get out. And I don't blame 3-3 for sticking around. He was trying to interrupt the Blink Dagger for Sam-H to cover his allies or land a stun, but the Blink came off cooldown too early. And at that point, it was kind of a hard committal that they'd stuck around a little bit too late.
It's one of those counterintuitive moments where you should have stunned the Wraith King and ran away, even though he's got 100 health. Just let him live. It was a level 1 ulti. He levels it up now, so it's still that long 200-second cooldown. So he's got to wait for quite some time to make another maybe team fight impact, but he's got Blink Blade Mail.
It's going to be a while till he gets to level 20, though, and CCNC does have level 12 with an Axe, 3 points in Wex, so we could start seeing some EMP as matter, perhaps.
Unlike though some of the other mana burn heroes, it's like the nature of Tornado MP is like you can almost always get your wand off afterwards to give you enough mana to reincarnate. Whereas if you get stunned and you're hit by like a PL or a Weaver, you don't get a chance to pop your wand half the time.
Yeah, that's true. And with the Blade Mill, he's got more mana than normal. They did notice the bottom ulti come through, though. I was scouting things out with an Invis rune. They just need to stand on the high ground. Peter's going to be the one possibly tanking the gank, scanning the mid and the Roche Pit as well, but now Zai's going to spot Tim's. He could solo kill him, perhaps.
He's going to go for it. Stun silence with the Sunstrike. Nicely played. CCNC gets the last hit even.
Yep, no hesitation at all from Zai there.
Optic, Brave Roshan here. It doesn't look like they have that in mind. They do have the Wave of Terror for some damage amp, but
that's not even that great, I don't think. We've seen other Avenge lineups try the same thing. They do not kill Roche that rapidly. Maybe something that's not as important these days.
Optic showing CCNC top, but they're actually coming bottom to defend. They know Sam-H doesn't have ultimate, I believe. They're going to initiate on him. The immediate TP out gets cancelled. Raven also needs to find a way out here. He's got a TP. Can he find a way to use it in the trees? They bring down the Wraith King eventually as the chase is on, and Raven actually does not get caught up to. 33 doesn't have a Blink Dagger or any kind of gap close. He's got one queued up, but because of how bad of a game he's got, it's hard to get those extra kills.
Either way, some great grabs, though. It's definitely one thing that Earth Spirit helps out as a 4. Like, compared to a lot of other ganking or team fighters, a lot of times heroes like Earth Spirit that can affect and interrupt TPs, they need Blink Dagger first, but he's got it built in with his Rolling Boulder, and it's actually been impactful in a couple of these engagements already. Someone calling? I mean, it's only TI, right? What if it's, what if it's a really good offer or something?
I'm not sure what someone calling means. Maybe yelling, because your phones only get taken away. So
that's a good point, actually.
I don't think it actually means phones. But bounty runes come out again. TNC grab the initial 2. There's 2 more which are untaken, which they can also grab. So we could see another 4 TNC bounty rune, which has been big chunk of gold. I feel like that's close to like 3,000 or 4,000 gold just from bounty runes that TNC have over Optic.
And it feels like a staple for both games that Optic is maybe not always on top of snagging bounties. I don't know if that's just a... I'm not necessarily sure why. Maybe they play a little slower. Maybe they're more defensive. They're looking dead in the mid lane at least.
Yeah. Swap, Cold Snap, easy pickings. Not the biggest deal for him. Pretty small kill to be giving away. Deep aggressive wards do get planted. He got the tower tonight, so it's actually totally worth it, by the way.
Oh, I didn't notice that. That's really good.
Denies more gold than he gives.
Some experience maybe, but not a big loss there.
And hey, Raven's like, wait, there's a bounty rune here? 2130? Okay.
I'll take that one. Halberd's finish on Huskar going to be really useful against heroes like Bloodseeker. And even Invoker sometimes can be really helpful.
Yeah.
3-3. Ooh, very close. Almost nailed by that arrow. Almost a rare mistake. Interesting skill build too, the old 3-3-3 Dragon Knight.
Yep.
Not common, but 0.75 seconds of stun.
Sticking true to his name.
That's a really good point, actually. Yes.
It's gonna go full immersion. The really crippling thing about these bounty runes isn't so much the cores, it's because that's team gold. That's where the supports take the biggest hit in terms of the percent of their net worth. That's where, you know, last game PPD couldn't finish an urn. This game, DK struggling to finish a Blink Dagger. Earth Spirit just has an urn. Like, these supports wish they were getting these bounty runes.
Does put a sentry down though. TNC does spot this out, but they have better control in this area of the map. They're doing a good job hiding. I like how they're deep in the trees. Don't even give them an opportunity to initiate.
They're going to fall back and probably try and take Roche themselves now, feeling like it's pretty safe to do so. Earth Spirit, though, in the neighborhood, in a pretty cheeky little spot here where he could go for a Roche steal.
Yeah, get your Twitch clips ready, guys. This could be it.
Armel misses the arrow. The Sunstrike going to give some vision, so now he can time it. He has a very good idea of when Roche is going to go down. Zai poised to strike. Here comes the roll with a stun to follow up. He times it perfectly. Gets the last hit as well. Zai, Dota, dies immediately. Wraith King, though, the one who dies on the TNC side, does have reincarnation immediately. Arrow hits the DK as he goes blinking, and they kill the Husker. Wraith King's got no way to survive his second life. He's going to go down as well. And 33 somehow doesn't die. Zai with a magical little play to get Optic Gaming back in game number 2. They're not done yet. They're going to get Armel. The Sunstrike, not enough to kill him off, but Zai is there to finish it. Well-deserved kill going his way. And there's the tip. Zai, the man of the moment.
That was
fantastic.
What a play. Sunstrike obviously helping in a big way, but they were not ready for an Earth Spirit from the right side. And he's lived in their jungle the last like 3 minutes, waiting for this moment, putting wards down. And with this information, I feel like Optic has used this to not get killed on the map. They just felt so much more confident the last 5 minutes.
It's like they were just waiting for the Roche fight to happen because of Earth Spirit. Like, yeah, he was living in the enemy jungle, getting down wards, but even after getting the wards down, he just stayed in that exact like cliff spot for the longest time. Oh, CCNC, you do not have the ages. Your team may have just secured a Roshan, but you need to be careful. Swapped away to safety. They're going to come in with the Wraith King here. The Finger of Death will help finish him off. Snamek doesn't have reincarnation, but it doesn't matter. They've got a showing of force here. They've got numbers. As Raven pops up, will bring down PPD. Full-on retreat now for the rest of Optic. That's Zai's Earth Spirit rolling and TPing away. Nicely done. Will escape.
He needs a vacate, man. He's out of Stone Remnants. He's got one left here. Definitely a big loss there. CC trying to push that those cooldowns a little bit too far. And once again, it's always like a single Bramble Maze catches a hero. And it doesn't feel like it's if you're playing this hero, it just feels so rough to land those Bramble Mazes. But Tim's always gets the edge on one important hero that leads into the catch, that gets another stun, and just constantly is getting kills for his team. 1, 2, and 9. Doesn't look impressive on the scoreboard, but he's making really good plays this game.
He's been definitely one of the big playmakers for them. These things will still look overall pretty good for TNC. They're going to Moonlight Shadow up and take a deep venture onto the Optic side of the map. They've lost majority of their vision here, which is perhaps partly the reason for this, so they can try and sneak out some bounty runes and also a kill if possible, but none present themselves.
They'll feel good about this fight, though. They do see Raven jungling over here, so if they can force a team fight, they'll definitely...
And what do you know? You know, TNC getting 4 bounty runes. We've seen this before. We've seen this again. This goal difference, I want to say, is almost entirely bounty runes right now.
Yeah, it's got to be. If I was an Optic coach, I would certainly bring it up once in a while.
Yeah.
But
I mean, we're seeing it not just like from TNC and like Optic not doing it. It's like every team will smoke and make plays around bounty runes.
Yes.
It's like, oh, bounty runes coming up. Let's grab 3 heroes, smoke, and go and find a kill. Even if you don't find a team fight, you find a single pickoff and you secure bounty runes. It's basically like killing multiple heroes.
It definitely comes down to what kind of heroes you have, though. I mean, not that Optic Gaming's lineup looks that abnormal or anything, but if you have lots of low cooldown ultimates, that kind of a thing, then it's fine to do these fights. Like Dragon Knight, not great at these little bounty rune fights because you don't necessarily want to commit to something that might be a half-hearted fight. So another great tower deny. Tim's being the one for this one. So 2 towers denied now against Optic. But still great map control around the enemy jungle. This is normally where they want to play, but it's also where heroes like Huskar have to live because he can't push lanes very fast and he is a bit vulnerable to a lot of focus pressure from like 3 heroes.
Little 3-man smoke down bottom. Pycat could be on the receiving end. He does have a BKB, but Lion has a Blink, and that's one of the best ways to counter a BKB. A Blink Hex, a Blink Impale. This could be the death of Pycat if he's not careful. He's close to his tower, but not close enough. Blink Impale is there. Pycat, no insta BKB. He should be going down here. The Boulder Smash, almost there in time to save him, but it's not going to be enough. Zai wants to turn this one around, though. He's going to buy back as well. They should be able to get some kills off of this Optic. We'll get the Husker initially. Can they find more? Cuckoo going for the TP out. It's a longish TP. He barely makes it up. PPD trying to get the swap, but it was too late, and he just swaps his teammate. And think TNC are going to feel great about that. Bloodseeker bought back.
Yeah, the buyback was really costly there. About 1,000 gold loss for Bloodseeker.
Yeah. I think they misread it. They must have assumed... it felt like they looked like it was going to be a big team fight, and like, oh, they're all here. They just ganked me by a tower. Let's take them in a like 5v5 situation. But it was just a little gank squad. It was like, let's gank, let's get out. I
mean, it could have been really scary, right? If the whole team is there and they kill Pycat like that and win a team fight, the creep wave is there as well. That could have just been a Rax that happens all of a sudden at a 27-minute window. So
yeah, very true.
It's one of those things that you have to buy back really fast in a lot of cases to make the window of making the team fights better. So if you hesitate, bad stuff like that happens. So when you play unpredictable, like TNC has been with some of these movements, that's when you start getting these little edges over your opponent. In this case, a big edge.
Yep. That's one of those smoke ganks I feel like is very random. Like, maybe not random, it was obviously there was a clear purpose to it, but very few teams would make a play like that.
Yep.
Like, oh, let's just, we're showing two heroes, there's a Wraith King pushing top. This dire side going all the way down to this bottom lane to find a kill right by the enemy tier 3 is definitely an unexpected play.
And SamH prepping for the Radiance now.
Yep. He's playing the somewhat pseudo carry role this game. He's on similar farm to the Husker, but he's going to be much more the front liner than the Husker.
Yeah. I mean, especially because Zai is doing so well, 5, 2, and 6. He's picked up Spirit Vessel. You could really see it against a Huskar. Like, once he initiated and he dropped the ultimate and put the Spirit Vessel on Huskar, Huskar was wrecked. There was not much he could do. He's not going to get as much healing. He can't armlet toggle very safely, so really straightforward for Zai, at least until he gets a BKB on Huskar. So for now, it seems like ganks is kind of the way that TNC has to play. Lincoln's was the Armo pickup as well, which protects him against Rupture, but he hasn't really felt like somebody that can also jump into a fight and just be really happy with how things are going. So maybe TNC just does these poking things and gets these ganks off to try to delay things until they have the big items on their heroes.
Yep. That definitely can work. For Optic side, it just kind of feels like, they're playing this slower game. They're looking towards the late game, and if they're going late game, it really needs to be CCNC who pulls them through, because DK has no farm whatsoever to scale with, and Bloodseeker, BKB, Halberd, this is not a scaling build, so it really is all in on this late game Invoker. He's going to have to hit some sick combos.
But with the Dragon Knight being behind like this, he's not going to collect more farm that rapidly, especially when he maxes out Breathe Fire last.
Yeah,
which is understandable for the way he's trying to play here. He's trying to be the guy that takes the focus and takes a lot of damage, takes a lot of spells, but obviously his farm level is really starting to suffer. 7,500 for him. But maybe he's just feeling like, I can't actually catch up at this point. I'm too far behind for the Dragon Knight, so I'm just going to focus on stuns, being in the right place at the right time, and pushing towers. And he's done that. But they need to start winning team fights, because things are going to get out of control if they just stay stagnant and get little ganks here and there every 5 minutes. They're just going to get out farmed.
Bottom lane, there's a big Skelly army on a tier 3 tower, so let's say somebody has to address this. Bounty runes coming up in Optic. First, they've got bounty runes.
2 whole bounty runes, incredible.
It's Christmas Day.
Richest they felt in a while.
Forest are happy. Look at that. Immediately, items being bought. This Halberd, it just shows up out of nowhere. Look what a couple bounty runes will do.
Changes everything. And 3/3s inching closer towards his Black King bar. About 500 go for that. That way he can super confidently initiate, actually.
Yep.
Almost a BKB on Mirana. They're going to try to catch it. Get the silence off. Good initiation. Now the stun. Perfectly played there by Zai. That's an item that doesn't help you against Earth Spirit. The Lincoln's is pretty much useless.
Very nicely played, hitting those rolling stuns and silences.
Optic is real happy with that one. At minimum, it's going to be a buyback force, but very likely they get the tier 2 here. Roshan is actually up in about 40 seconds, same time that Mirana is respawning, but they're just going to go high ground here. Why not keep pushing?
Yep. Hey, it looks... TNC are going to have to come back and do something about this.
Maybe looking for a swap here.
They've got the double siege creeps, which is a big part of why they probably went for this push. They put Alacrity on one, they're pinging it. TNC's like, we got to do something about this siege creep. We just lost a tier 3 tower out of nothing. Alacrity's siege is so goddamn good.
Wasn't that a full HP tower before this? It was. The tier 2 tower just died. And now those 2 catapults actually killed the tower.
It melted.
By themselves. With Venge Aura, but mostly 100 damage from Alacrity here. And now the game just completely changes. With that small moment of them getting the Mirana kill, because they didn't want to buy back. I mean, I don't think they expected the catapults to kill the tower that fast, but they get tier 2, they get the tier 3, they're going to deal with shrines, and now the map control from TNC is just utterly different.
It really just all comes back to those 2 bounty runes, Purge, I gotta say.
I think you're right. That's the difference, mate. The confidence. They hear that gold and they're like, you know what, guys? It's going to be all right.
Well, that puts them in a good place. Next Roche has respawned. TNC have got to be thinking, that was a bit of a mess up here. We lost a tier 3 tower, we lost shrines, we lost a lot of map control. We need to right this ship as they may look to play around Sam H. He got this Radiance and they've yet to kind of fight around him and achieve anything with it. His level 3 ulti also online, which is a big timing. 40-second cooldown. You really would want to be fighting as often as possible when you have a level 3 ulti on Wraith King.
Well, they're going to pop Pot multi at least. They've got Haste Rune on Dark Willow. Nope, never mind. Running out.
CCNC needs to be careful here in this mid lane. He's a little bit exposed. Does have a swap to back him up, though.
Yes, and lots of BKBs on the course, so they're going to go on the Dragon Knight instantly. He's going to... Oh, great swap. Going to buy time.
Root caught him, though. He is going to BKB before Armor Starstorm hits, though. So they take out the Venge with these. Can they bring down CCNC? He pops his BKB, already very low, though. And on the Dire side, they've taken no casualties and did finish off the Dragon Knight.
Rupture used to.
Right?
Oh, they got Kukulo.
Yeah.
That's very tempting. I'm sure Bloodseeker salivating right now.
Can they take Roshan off of that? That's a dead DK, and I think just as importantly, BKBs were used, at least on the Invoker. Bloodseeker still has his. Dire side used a BKB on both Mirana and Husker, but I would say somewhat less dependent on these for a fight.
And they can even easily cross here. They're going to pop Smoke. Tim's in a great position, though. Very likely that he'll be able to block the CCNC dropping some Forge Crits. They know they're approaching, but Tornado comes through.
A little bit too late. Are they going to take this fight? That'd be very brave. They should know where PPD is off that Wave of Terror. They're going charging forward, but Optic do avoid getting caught.
I think he's maybe trying to just vision, break Blink Daggers, that kind of a thing, prevent chase. So they don't get the defend. Definitely a little tough for them, but it was actually amazing how effective it was to jump in like that and just burst down 33. They threw all the nukes on him. He would have died instantly without swap, no BKB out of him, and it really needed to go the opposite way. The Dragon Knight's basically playing the same kind of role as what the Wraith King normally does. Jump in tanky, disable a guy, and let your allies follow up, but they weren't the initiators themselves.
And even though, bottom lane, TP in, that's going to be
got a cheese.
One life. Oh, uses the cheese. That's not what you expect when he has reincarnation, but should be able to find PPD. Hex Impale, nothing. Cuckoo couldn't find him. He used the Impale already. Guessed, I guess, wrong with where he was.
Yeah, guessed on this line here.
And couldn't get vision for a Hex. So nicely done to get out of there. And the cheese was used, which was
not bad.
Perhaps win for Optic, even if just a small one. It's weird because the swap is a save, but it still feels like the best way for TNC to fight is just to blink stun a hero, even if they know that hero's getting saved. Because if they get him to half health, they're less likely to be able to team fight. Raven mid.
He's not going to BKB. Okay.
He's got the Aegis. He is going to go for the BKB. Is he going to turn and fight? You betcha. There's a hero in rage. He has been ruptured. He's kind of stuck in place here. Doesn't want to go for a life break just yet. He's got Pycat BKB'd up in front of him. Now he goes for the life break with the rupture wearing off. He's going to go chasing after him. Gets caught by the halberd, unfortunately, so he can't do too much damage. But Pycat's lost all his teammates. No Invoker, no Venge, and no life left for him. At least not for another 75 seconds as the push goes down mid. TNC taking game one and now in a fantastic spot for game number 2. A 2-0 in this very contentious Group B would be absolutely massive.
They did get 2 bounty runes, though, at least. But ultimately, it comes down to the same thing that's happened every single other team fight. TNC jumps in, puts a stun on an important hero. They drop Finger of Death, every nuke that they can, and they get a kill. And this time it was on Invoker.
You burst down that first target, or you get them very low and they get swapped out, but either way, they're removed from the fight. So you know you have an edge whether you kill them or not. You've got heroes that are just less dependent on some of those spells. It can be a buyback from Bloodseeker. Husker just going to immediately delete Earthspirit. He's got no buyback. 33 TP'd in with a BKB, but he just does no damage. What's his BKB for? It's to get a stun out on Raven, but is there a follow-up? There is a Rupture. He's got an Aegis. He may just not care. He can stand still. He's going to get tornadoed. Sunstrike follow-up. Can they kill him once? Better question, perhaps, can they kill him twice? They'll kill him once. Bring him down, as does the Wraith King. He pops the Blade Mail on respawn. If they want to go for Sam H, they sure as hell can, and they're going to kill him a second time, so no respawn here. Probably wishes he still had that cheese as they do go looking for Raven's Husker. Melee Rack was claimed. They're going to go for it. BKB on Raven if he needs it. Doesn't look like he does. And Willow's out of there.
All right. I mean, I thought that was okay. They did get the full set of racks, but it felt a little bit worse. They are still very able to kill the Wraith Knight. Lots of magic damage, basically. So until he gets something like a BKB, and he's got the money, 6k gold, 6K, yeah. He dies real fast.
I think that's the right pickup here, but we'll see if he does end up committing to it or not.
Seems like TNC's been just using BKB, but BKB's a little bit better. But I don't really blame CCNC in the mid lane because they had great vision. They had wards up on both sides, but the pod multi got used. They dust the Huskar, so they know where Huskar is, but they don't want to pop BKBs just on the off chance that it's Huskar alone and nobody else shows up. So it's like one of those hard moments, and instantly you get a blink hex or a blink stun, and if you can't react in time, it's over. Like your hero's going to get bursted down. So tough moment there. Maybe they just needed to be a bit quicker killing the Huskar initially or something, but
it's kind of almost like the nature of the heroes that it's a lot easier for TNC to BKB because they can usually see the stuns coming. There's no real... the blink stun from a DK is kind of instant, but on the dire side, a blink hex or a blink impale from Cuckoo's very hard to dodge. Wraith Fire Blast possible, but tricky, so much easier for TNC to use BKB as well.
Yeah, those are one of those like super high level things where a small reaction time difference can be an absolute change. Like if you are fast enough to get a BKB off, they're looking for a swap maybe on the Wraith King, but he's got BKB active and they notice that. They know it's not time to go now. No. Pre-BKB, yeah, kill him twice maybe, but definitely not now. Now, maybe now.
They're going to try maybe get a free cheap kill on him. They don't want to commit too much. They're not throwing any BKBs. They will get that first kill. They're not even... Oh, they are going to stay around here. SamH immediately BKBs. Looks to turn and fight. Spirit got hexed up when he went in here. He gets taken out without getting too much off. Did get the Magnetize out. SamH is dying a second time even with the BKB. Not bad for Optic, but they have lost CCNC. Armel found him, and he's going to throw out an arrow. Doesn't hit 33 here, but Raven's there with the Burning Spears. Should be able to do enough damage to 33. He's trying to hide in the trees, but that strat doesn't work. This isn't TI1 anymore. You don't stay in the trees. You're going to get out of them and go and fight. Tim's is going to fight Pike out as well. The Finger of Death getting him nice and low. Perfectly primed for Tims to finish him off and get a double kill. He even got PPD. They're all dead. They've all got no buyback. It's GG. Optic have been 2-0'd here, and TNC going to be going to sleep with smiles on their faces tonight.
I think Optic did a great job with the heroes they had, but the Dragon Knight always playing from a position of weakness. The initiation of TNC was just superior, and it just made me feel very confident in TNC over Optic as a team. Like, they both games, it was kind of a back and forth thing, but just across the board, TNC was making better rotations. They were more successful. Their teamfight initiations were better. They were using their items in superior ways, and they just were playing faster, going from gank to gank more rapidly while Optic sits around farming creeps or waiting for an easy gimme kill.
They look like the confident team, and I'd say one of the bigger criticisms of Optic in the past and some of these players and teams has just been how they perform on LAN. Players like CCNC who's just inexperienced. He's not a veteran to the LAN scene. They've got PPD there, but all three of these core players haven't had the best LAN track record. This was a Pike. He's been playing competitive Dota since Dota 1, but he won his first LAN of all time this year at Starladder. So this is a somewhat inexperienced team, a team that doesn't always do all these big events, and TNC did not look afraid. They're a team who has a great track record at TI, and they showed it a bit here. Yeah,
absolutely. Going back like 3 or 4 years now, pretty storied and very experienced players as well. They really showed off this game, and kind of straightforward heroes. It seems like they have a pattern that works for them, opening the Mirana and then going from there. And they look pretty legit, so that gives them a 2-0 here, and it's going to give them some great separation in their group. And for Optic, they're going to be pretty disappointed, I think, with the 0-2 pushing them towards the bottom here.
That puts you at that 3-5 record where some of the bottom teams were in your group, and you're in a big group. Team Secret, you're down there with the garbage.
Yeah, very hard group.
What a fun TI where you can have it be so competitive, and like last year it felt like, oh, it's going to be one of these two teams who are obviously the worst. This year, one of 5 or 6 teams could get last place.
Could be anybody.
TNC 6-4. They're now tied with VGJ Storm on 6 wins. VGJ Storm only have 1 loss, at least according to Wikipedia at the moment. But
they're set behind basically. They'll catch up with some more games. Yeah. But great series. And just something to work for Optic, I guess. Maybe need to play faster. Maybe it seems like they're still kind of searching for a play style that they feel comfortable with. And I feel for teams that are losing games, because then it's hard to feel like you have something that you're comfortable with because you're just maybe playing worse. So it's hard to get confidence. It's hard to find what strategy really is good because you're just constantly shifting and scrambling to think like, how do I actually gain ground here and get all the wins that I need. So.
Well, that does it for us on stream number D. God damn it.
Number D.
Number D. That's a great way to, conclude today.
And it's extra confusing because it's actually stream 5, so it's even worse.
Stream number D. Jesus.
On our
Yeah,
there's
what
paper on
number
our doors.
goes with D?
we promise. There's a little piece of paper that says Stream D. We swear.
It says number D on there as well.
Exactly.
So I'm actually not referring to the number D. I'm referring to the formal name number D, which is the official name of this casting room. So I was not incorrect.
And they got the best casters for number D stream, as you can see.
And best producers as well.
Yes, that's right.
We're done. There's a lot of great Dota tomorrow. Tomorrow's kind of a big day because there's a lot of matches. Things are going to shape out. It's not the last day of the group.